someone explosion.
Just step inside. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club, and we are here for another championship round here. Welcome to the World Endurance Series. We are getting ready to get going here, making sure all our levels are good to go. A brand new championship in CMRSC, and qualifying is coming up right away. So just stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting into it now. So we are just getting ready to get in. Let's take a look at the race preview.
Welcome to Spa. Nestled in the rolling hills of the Ardennes forest in Belgium, Circuit of Spa-Francorchamps is the most legendary racetrack in the world. Opened in 1921, this redesigned multiple times circuit, Spa, is fast and fearsome with a true cathedral of speed where weather, terrain, and traffic come together to test drivers' limits. At 7 kilometers long with 20 turns, Spa is the longest permanent circuit in the modern racing calendar. In multi-class racing, it's a chessboard at 250 kilometers, where GT cars and prototypes battle for track space, pit strategy, and survival across long stints and sudden weather shifts. From the 24 hours of Spa, the 1,000 kilometers of Spa, and the Formula 1 Belgium Grand Prix, the circuit has hosted it all. But with multi-class grids arrive, whether LMP2s or GT3s, this place becomes a high-speed ballet of overtakes, blue flags, and nerves. In Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club, Spa has hosted the 2022 GT3 Challenge Championship, the 2023 GT3 Masters Championship, the 2024 LMP2 World Endurance Spec Series Championship, and earlier this year, the 2025 GT World Challenge. With a lot of history, both real life and the league, let's take a tour of the key corners and challenges that make up Spa's ultimate test for multi-class mayhem. Starting off with turn 1, La Source. A tight right-hander hairpin after the start. It's the slowest corner on the lap and a hot spot for first lap chaos. In crowded multi-class fields, patience is key, but the inside line is where bold makes the mark. Turns 2 to 4, also known as the famous Eau Rouge and Radion. The most iconic sequence in motorsport, flat out in the most modern machinery but still terrifying with a full tank or damp tarmac. For multi-class racing, traffic through here is high drama. GTs stay planted, while the faster cars thread the needle at 250 kilometers plus. Turns 5 to 6, Lecom. A heavy braking zone at the end of the Camel Straight. This chicane is where faster cars commit to bold passes on GT traffic, but it can complicate everything. Timing is everything here. And then turn 10, Puan. A double apex left-hander taken at high speed. It's relentless on tires, brutal in traffic, and demands absolute commitment. Multi-class racing here, unforgiven. Then turn 15, Blanchiment. Nearly flat out, insanely fast, and lined with barriers, passing here is risky but possible. Especially with GT cars lift, respect is everything. Turns 18 to 20, the bus stop chicane. Spa's final test, a hard braking zone from the top speed into a tight right-left hander. It's the last shot to dive bomb, defend or lose everything here. In multi-class racing, this corner sees everything, last lap drama to heroic heartbreaks. Multi-class racing at Spa is a game of focus and respect. Fast cars must be surgical, slower classes must be predictable. And the weather, well, it can flip the script at any moment, with one part of the track day and the other soaked in rain. Spa isn't just a racetrack, it's a pressure cooker of pace, patience, and pure racing spirit. So, if you want chaos, strategy, and skill all at 300 kilometers per hour, this is where you'll find it. In the world of Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club, this will be host of the first round of the 2025 CMRSC Endurance Championship. A brand new champion has been crowned in the league, and with it, the final chapter of the TCR World Series comes to a close. However, in the horizon, a brand new series is born. Set to go racing for 4 rounds, 90 minutes of endurance racing will take place in CMRSC, and with it, we will see GTE and LMP2 on track at the same time in the form of multi-class racing. The first since 2023, but since IMSA, the paddock has shifted with brand new drivers faster than before. We are in store for a treat. We've already seen the LMP2s tear it up here 1 year ago, but now we see a brand new class, GTE. The cousin to GT3, the difference between the two types of cars may not seem clear at first, but once they set off on race day, it will all make sense then. Spa is set to host the first round again since the GT World Challenge earlier this year, and if there's anything to go by from January, expect a classic in the league's first ever 90-minute race. It's all to play for here at Belgium, as this is round 1. The Belgium CMRSC Endurance Grand Prix.
So as we load into the session now to start this qualifying off, you can see drivers are already on the track getting ready for qualifying. So we can get this one underway. Welcome back to Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. I'm your host, Rahul, Nasseir, and we got yourself up an amazing 90-minute Endurance Championship. So as practice now comes to an end, and good news, I was able to hop in, so we're good to go. So everything is going as normal. So we're just going to wait till practice ends, and then we're going to get into qualifying. So as all the drivers are doing their last bits of practice and getting ready for this one, we had a little bit of issues with the timing screen. So if we actually go to main screen here, we had some issues there with the logos trying to load in for some reason. Assetto, of course, it would just crash on us. So for now, we're just going to rock with the default logos that are just on the screen here. And hopefully it does not hamper any of the action going on. But since we're getting to the end of practice right about now, we can start to set our eyes on for an amazing championship we have coming up. So we're just at the end of practice, and we're gonna have 25 minutes of qualifying split into 2 sides. So we're gonna have the GTs come out first for the first 10 minutes, 5-minute break, and then we're gonna see the LMPs for the final 10 minutes tear it up on track. If you're excited, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on course for 1,500 subscribers. It'd mean a lot if you can hit the subscribe button and join CMRSC in our journey to be one of the biggest places to race, one of the best places to race in the world. You can't find anything better than us. In the meantime, however, let's see if we can get ourselves a different kind of leaderboard here. Probably not. Okay, we'll just leave everything as is. Just as normal, and then we're gonna get into the action. So multi-class racing. So the Orca logo on the side of your screens, a little bit small to see. That's your prototypes out there on track. Then of course we also have the GTE class. We have cars like Ferraris, Porsches, Fords, Corvettes. What else do we have in there? And BMWs. All right, that is the end of practice. So if you haven't read the rules, which I highly recommend you do so, we're gonna get into qualifying. The first 10 minutes are for GTEs. The virtual checkered flag will wave at the 10-minute mark. Once the 10-minute mark passes, if you're on a lap still, you have until 15 minutes left in the session to finish up. By the 15-minute mark, LMPs will go. By that time, LMPs are not allowed to be on track. Best of luck, everyone. GTE qualifying has begun. LMPs, stay in the pits. So here we go. Welcome to qualifying here for the CMRSC World Endurance. It's the Endurance Championship here, and we're getting ready for the Belgium Grand Prix. If you're excited for this one, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we're going to get ready for action. So yes, just a reminder, this is GTE qualifying for the first 10 minutes. With 10 minutes left to go into the session. With 15 minutes left to go into the session, that is where the virtual checkered flag will come out. So for all LMPs, you are not allowed to come out on the track. You must stay in the pits. If you're caught on track, you will be handed from a high penalty to a straight disqualification from the event. We'll let you know when you're allowed to come out on track to the LMP class. GTEs, you have 10 minutes. We'll let you know when the virtual checkered flag comes out, but it's 10 minutes, so the checkered flag will come out at 15 minutes left to go in the session. Best of luck. So as all the drivers get a quick little explanation of what's going to go down here, and qualifying gets underway, we haven't really had much chance to really show off the championship at hand over here, but nonetheless, though, you could try rejoining, George. You can try rejoining the server. So a lot of guys still trying to exit the pit lane, but you can see a very healthy field of GTE cars. Different liveries you're going to see on track here. Brand new drivers as we get those driver names up on your screens. You have some of the fan favorites and your returning drivers. Who do we have on the list here? Rahul Partab. We have a new driver here, Eduardo. We have Nixon. We have Regan Milana in that. It's that a taxi? Yes, it is. Who else do we have? Eamon Esbier, Lacey Fancher, Peter Sabot, your previous champion in TCR. But as we shuffle down the order, it's Sven who's going to start us off for a lap. Let's turn up the audio. Let's take a listen to the cars going on track now. So heading into turn one, into the right-hander, the hairpin, and then accelerating out very flat up here, and then it's into the famous Eau Rouge and Radiant. You can see him shifting up Sven, and he is not letting off here. And there you see, he is absolutely on a flyer now as he races down the Camel Straight, heading into the next set of chicanes. Here we go, hard on the brakes. Let's take a look at those gears there. Third gear into the right, into the left-hander. Slight accelerating out. You're kind of just playing with the throttle as you then finally mash the throttle out for the right-hander. Then racing down the hill. Look at that. Holding on to the inside line. Oh, but he's gone a bit wide. But he's got it going. Switch to the right-hander. Flick to the left. And we have a great turnout here on track and a great turnout over on the stream side. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the content. If not, well, hold on to your seats because it's just qualifying. Racing is going to be the real story. Wide. So apologies there. Just make sure audio levels are working. Like the stream if you're liking it already. And comment down in the live chat, who do you think is taking pole position in the GTE class? Who's it going to be? As we first off watch Sven here as he just takes a little wiggle there on the rear. And now he enters on to the back straight, heading up into the famous Blanchiment. Very easy where you can lose out on track limits. As you see, it's going to be completely flat out. You want to get the car as wide as possible, then swing it in. Absolutely beautiful. Last but not least, it is the bus stop chicane, and we're going to find out right about now the drivers and what they're going to be chasing. Van Doren says, I'm going to be the one who's going to take pole position. We'll see about that. Here we go. Across the line, Sven puts down a lap time of a 2:16.325. That's the time the drivers are going to be chasing down. Let's take a look at the drivers behind them as they come around the final couple of corners. As we see, Eamon puts in that lap time there. P2, but P1 is taken over by Peter Sabot. 2:16.240. Next up now, we have the Ford of Partab and Eduardo. Both of them, not valid lap times. Nixon puts in a lap. Not going to be quick enough. Here we have the Chevy of Kasper Tezayaki, and he puts in a lap. It's not fast enough. Here comes Lacey come across the line, and she goes 7th. And so good qualifying lap times out there so far. So the first round of qualifying laps have been put down there, and there you can see what it's looking like. But now as we head on to the back straight, once again for another time here, we look on board with Layla, one of the breakout stars in CMRSC, took the sprint race win. Back at Donington Park for CMRSC's TCR World Series just a couple weeks ago. Here she comes, though, across the line now, and it's not going to be a valid lap time. We look at George, and George is a little far behind because he was having some issues. Let's look down our screens. Here we have Peter Sabot, currently fastest and very far up the road with open air, open space. It's Sven. And Sven is a very quick driver to watch out for. The Dutchman is looking for his greatness in the league. We've already seen what he's capable of in previous championships. So we're going to find out now what he can do here. On board with him. And he's got the bus stop chicane to navigate. So let's watch how he's taking this line. It's one of the tricky parts of the circuit. But that Ferrari's navigating pretty well. May have been able to hit the entry curb into the left-hander a little bit better, but Sven comes across the line, and it's a magic time! Oh my goodness! Oh, 2:16.240! P1 and P2 are tied with the same time! But with Peter Sabot, who had already set his lap time, well, he's currently on pole! That is incredible! And that shows you how close the competition is! I can't believe it! That's incredible! Here comes the rest of the pack. Here comes Taseyaki. Racing to the line, coming across, and nothing can be done. Anything for these drivers to potentially improve their position. Lacey goes up to 7th. Regan goes up to 5th. But as it stands, though, that is a fantastic time. I just saw, I think Sven just disconnected out the session. I'll be joining right back in a moment. But tied there, and there you see him. He's just entering into the session. But there you see interesting tire choices from some of these guys. George Hall sticking with the mediums as well as Lacey. Not liking the soft compound tires, but the mediums of that Ferrari putting in a 2:16.240. Peter with softs, 2:16.240. That's awesome. So as we continue this qualifying session, Peter Sabot has a chance, potentially. Can we see him improve? There is Sven now exiting out pits. They're going to have one more chance at it for the top spot here. Who's going to take pole? Peter Sabot, Sven tied. Eamon Esmir, Kasper Taseyaki behind them. It's a very, very interesting qualifying session. Here comes one of those drivers here, Eduardo, to come across the line in the Porsche, but unfortunately stays 2:18.173. Let's take a look at the next couple of drivers to come across, and we have the two Caribbean drivers of Nixon and Rahul. The chat is looking great for Rahul Pratap as well. He is unfortunately sitting in 7th, but it is still qualifying, and racing is where the business is made. But we look on here for Nixon with a fantastic looking livery on track. That is the Porsche Show Me Your Heart. His teammates with Anna Adam in the upper class. Of course, they're both not taking points together. But nonetheless, though, we watch now. Here we go. Nixon into the bus stop chicane. Anything can be done, potentially. No. Takes it to the pits. Here comes Partab. Currently sitting P7. The Guyanese coming across the line for HP Racing. Stays P7 behind BMW of Peter Sabot. And Peter has now put out a statement because he's quicker. 2:16.226. Further cements himself on pole. So that tiebreaker is broken now. Regardless, Sven needs to start pushing hard. So qualifying is complete. If you have already put down a lap time, you must stay into the pits. If you are already crossed the line by that 15-minute mark, you can stay out to finish your lap. So as they come across the line, the virtual checkered flag is out. There you see one of the Fords just coming across our screen. Steven. And then we also see one of the Ferraris there of Eamon. But at the moment, it's still Peter on pole. One opportunity here. What can Lacey do? And we also have P5 of Eduardo ready to come across the line now. Let's see what's going to happen here. Racing to the line in the Porsche. Currently sitting 5th. Comes across the line and stays 5th position. Now, 8th position. Here we see Lacey Fancher racing now for Spirit Racing. What can she do in the closing stages of qualifying in for the GTE class? Lone car on track, open air. All you have is the mentality game to make sure you do not make a single mistake. Into the right and left. Little bit of curb, double right-hander to go before you enter the back straight. And Lacey racing down onto the back straight. Next up, it is Blanchiment. What can she do? Is there any chance of a potential pole position? Her teammate currently sits in 3rd position. Massive opportunity for the team if they can get at least one of their cars on the front row. They have one of them on the second row. On to the final couple of corners, the bus stop chicane, and racing to the checkered flag. Can Lacey get pole position here from 8th place? No! And that is it for the GTE cars. All right, so at the exact 10-minute mark, that is when LMPs can go out. So congratulations, your top 3 for GTE, Peter, Sven, Eamon. I don't know if you noticed it, but the top 2 of Peter and Sven actually tied for the fastest lap as we were through that qualifying session. So very exciting there. Once again, the LMP class goes at the exact 10-minute mark. At that point, GTE cars must stay in their pit box, cannot leave their pit box. So a short intermission from the drivers here. Great qualifying there. Oh, wow, that was incredible. But we're going to be back now for this next session here. We're just going to rejoin into the session. Incredible stuff so far here in this qualifying session. As the drivers all getting ready for this chaotic qualifying session for the other class now. It's gonna be pretty incredible to see who takes pole position here for the LMP class. We are just about 80 seconds away. 80 seconds away from the start of it. If you're enjoying it, that was just GTE. The LMP2s are going to rip it up on track. And it's going to be a very incredible qualifying session. Who is going to take pole position? Coming up now, we're heading back into the session to watch the drivers come out on track. 50 seconds until green light. So let's take a look at the LMP class. Let's see who's taking it on. Danny Nasseir. We have a debut driver, Maximilian Fleer. The German, Mike Van Dorn. Let's ignore what that is. Max Kitts, Lucas Smith, Christian Ramau. So, decent amount of drivers here. 15 seconds. And here we go. And green flags coming up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we are out. So, Max, you're going to get looked at by the end of the session there. He jumped the queue. You were supposed to stay in your pit box. You're going to be taking a 5-second time penalty for the end of the race. So Max, already eager to get out, already gains himself the first penalty. But he needs to stay in the pits. All the drivers must stay in the pits. That is the rule. But now, we can get on to the faster class. We have not seen the LMPs for quite a while. It has been since last year for the LMP2 World Endurance Spec Series Championship. It's lovely to get back on track. Continuing on now, the first driver we have on our screen, we have Lucas Smith. Lucas Smith has been the driver to look out for the past couple of rounds. Mainly, we had it back in the TCR World Series. He made his debut and he was very quick, taking home sprint races, galore podiums, back-to-back P2s and sprint races. But if you're enjoying the action, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. Link in the description. You can get in on the action. So our first driver to make it around here is the Dutchman of Lucas Smith. Let's see what he can do in the Jumbo Racing Team LMP2. Here we go for the first lap now. Let's go on board with him as he heads into turn one. It's going to be a very quick lap, way quicker than we just saw earlier in this one. Into the hairpin and then racing up now. This one is a very, very easy flat out Eau Rouge and Radial. There he goes, looking very, very easy. Barely anything you got to do around there. As we now exit onto the Kemmel Straight, looking into the next couple of corners here. Into the right, left-hander, back to the right-hander, accelerating out. Luca now going downhill into the right-hander and a little bit wide there as he goes. Trying to hold on and able to hold on for the late apex. And, into the gravel as well. The rear end sliding out. Might want to also add, this is a fixed series for the LMP2, so all the drivers are running the exact same setup. The only thing they can do is change their traction control, brake bias, tire temperatures, fuel. That's about it. So these drivers are really on the best of even playing fields as Lucas really pushing as hard as possible. He's still within track limits. That's the good thing. However, this lap is all over the place. And nonetheless, though, still trying to find his way around the lap. And now trying to see what he can do. What is the lap the driver's going to be chasing down? Lucas Smith is the fastest man overall in practice. So as we head on now to the final chicane here. It's the right, left, bus stop chicane complete. Up to the line, the drivers are going to be chasing down Lucas Smith. 203, 249. Who's next to come across the line? It is Max as he's now put down a lap time. Maximilian, I should say, apologies. Mike Van Dorn takes provisional pole, followed by Christian Ramau, who takes provisional pole. 202.909, the new time to beat. Here comes Danny Nasseir to come across, goes to 5th position. Last but not least, it's Max Kitt on a flyer. And he's already looking purple in the first sector, so very good first sector from him. As we watch him now into the right-hander, accelerating out of Puan into the chicane. Right, left, exiting out. Ladies and gentlemen, qualifying will come to a close in about 5 minutes time, and then racing will get underway. You do not want to miss the action coming up very soon. To the right. Once again, just checking audio levels, making sure we're good. Make sure that the subscribe button, you'll be able to enter into the live chat and have a chat with myself, and you can predict now who's going to get pole position for this one. Van Doren has already said he's going to take pole position. And currently, so far, he's P2. Here comes Max, though, ready to come across the line. And Max is going to put down a lap time that puts himself on pole. 2:02.654. That's pole. Provisional pole for him. They have 4 minutes and 8 seconds left to go in this qualifying session. So far, Lucas Smith is faster in the middle sector, but he was a bit slow in the first. Oh, but he's hit the curb too hard! Lost out all the momentum, and he's gonna have to try another lap! Next up is Maximilian. What can the German do? Coming across the line now, stays P5. That's a huge shame from Luca. Makes a terrible mistake. Lucas Smith's gonna have to try again, but Christian Ramau next to come across the line, and he stays P2. 2/10 just down on that lap time. Still looking for that pole. Too much curb, though, was Lucas Smith. And too much curb from Danny Nasseir as well. That's a shame. Danny Nasseir to come across the line. And only P6. That is not going to help his case at all. As we follow along now. Max on pole. So Max Kit at the top. We haven't seen him since Porsche Cup. As we head on now, Van Doren. Actually, he's on an outlap, but beautiful livery there. Oh, as he touches the gravel for a moment. Behind him, it's Kit. He's 5/10 down in the middle sector. He was able to ace Sector 1. So far, pretty good. But at the moment, he's just up half a tenth on his delta, trying to find a way to put this lap down. And we're going to stay on board with him as he heads into the bus stop chicane. And any chance he could potentially put down 5/10. And no. So he was able to put down a 10th. So 2:03.0. And so far, he's still on provisional. That is lucky for him. But Lucas Smith is looking way quicker. Lucas Smith is up almost a 10th. He's 0.08 of a second faster. And Luca now, as he heads into the final chicane now. Can Lucas Smith be our first man on pole position here for the first round of the Endurance Championship? For LMP2, he's on provisional. That is a good time from him. Knocks down Fleer to 5th position. The 203s, 202s. Danny Nasseir is the real one struggling out there. P6, he is not finding any sort of grips with the car. It might be qualifying here. Maybe the pressure heading back onto this car. Something not agreeing with him, but he's 6th at the moment. He is very much off the pace in this first qualifying session. And as we head back on here, Luca is trying to extend. You can see 3/100ths faster this lap by. And Kit is not fast in this one, but Ramau is! And we might have ourselves a third contender for provisional pole. The Brazilian of Christian Ramau could potentially steal the show. Let's see what he can do. A little bit wide, get in the car, turned in as quick as possible, accelerating out into the right-hander, slips it into the left of No Name, accelerating. Let's see what he can do. 30 seconds left to go here in qualifying. They're all racing for the checkered flag. Meanwhile, we take a look at Van Doren, who's actually hit the sausage curb in the bus stop. He races to the line. Nonetheless, what can the Dutchman do? Van Doren stays 4th position, but he has one more opportunity at this lap time. Kit, this is not going to be a fast lap time, so he's going to try once again. One more lap for him. We'll see what he does. But Lucas Smith may be in trouble because the first sector is very fast. 53.7 from Christian Ramau, while Lucas Smith's only doing a 54.1. It's goosebumps here at the end of qualifying. Who is going to take it into the bus stop chicane? And Lucas Smith's gonna bail out on his lap time. And we watch Fleer now, the German. What can he do across the line from 5th position? Does not improve. Finally, we have Christian Ramau. Can he take pole position for himself? Yes, he can by 2/10. Christian Ramau on provisional pole position. He has 2 cars left to worry about. And Max Kit is faster in the first sector. Kit's absolutely on it. One final opportunity. Max Kit slides the rear. And we're just watching him patiently. Danny Nasseir comes across the line. Nothing can be done. He stays last. And now we watch the American. One final opportunity. Can he take pole? Can he steal the show for himself? Take down that 202.313. He is racing towards. Oh, he's made a mistake. Into the right-hander. That's going to be his qualifying. He's lifted off. Christian Ramau's on pole. Incredible qualifying. Congratulations, your top 3 from qualifying. Christian Ramau, Lucas Smith, Max Kit. Great qualifying there. So, you can now sit easy, and racing will start in just a moment. What an incredible qualifying that was. Holy, if you love that qualifying, wait for racing to come down here. 19 concurrent viewers, actually 23 concurrent viewers. Thank you so much for tuning into CMRSC. That is an incredible qualifying session. Now we're gonna get into racing in just a moment. That was awesome there. But in the meantime, as we're waiting for all these drivers to get ready for racing, let's take a look at pit lane. The IRL Spa 24 is going on. We now have 30 seconds before we see drivers on track here for, oh, the big one. This is it. This is going to be for all the marbles, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to have quite a while to wait on the pits, then onto the grid. It's looking good out here. Racing gets ready in CMRC for round 1 of the Endurance Championship. Let's see them on track as they head on. Race to the Ages, our first ever 90-minute endurance battle. So best of luck to all the drivers. All right, just to let everyone know through the procedure, it's gonna be a rolling start. You can stay 2x2 if you like, but if not, we're gonna be going. We're gonna be mandatory going 2x2 as we head into the final chicane. So as you enter the back straight, that is when you need to start getting 2x2. And is Jaden in the server? Okay, he is. Yes, Jaden, I can. We can shuffle you up. So as for the GTE class, you're gonna have one LMP2 car trying to come through. So if you can, just allow Jaden to quickly just come up through the field. Miro, you can also try to join in and see if you can also join into the session. But here's the procedure. It's just 1 lap. We have 4 minutes extra of this rolling start. So it's 1 lap. Once we get to the back straight, we're going to get everyone to double up and bunch up as close as possible. If we have to go around again, we will go around again. But we're going to try to do this in 1 lap. Once again, lap 1 incidents will not call out a VSC. Same with lap 1 for the restarts. Restarts and the start of the race. First laps will not count as VSCs. 55 seconds left to go. Best of luck, everyone. And this is a rolling start. Leaders, 100 kilometers. 100 kilometers. You do not, for the GTE pole position drivers, you do not need to stagger. Stay close with the LMP2 cars. And Jaden, try your best to try to cut through the field. You don't have to rush too quickly. Try to get there as safe as possible. 30 seconds left to go. Let's take a look at our grid. Christian Ramau, Lucas Smith, Max Kidd, Mike Van Dorn, Fleer, Nasseir. Then we head into GTE. Sabo, Verkstein, Esbir, Tasayaki, Brito, Milana, Partab, Fancher, Roll. Who do we have in the back there? We have Layla George. Jaden, who's going to shuffle himself up. And here we go. So, max 100 kilometers, 100 kilometers. There we go. Underway for the rolling start. So rolling start underway here for this long race. An hour and 30 minutes of action-packed racing coming your way. Don't adjust your television sets. Don't refresh YouTube. Just get ready for the action to unfold here today for Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club's round one of its first ever endurance championship. The last time we saw multi-class racing was all the way back in 2023's IMSA, Assetto Corsa Sports Car Championship. And what a series that honestly was. It was absolutely incredible. At the end, it was Danny Nasseir who took the championship win, followed by Jaden Harrison. And very smart for Jaden, as he's really calling himself up the order. And he is finally able, and he's caught up. All right, Jaden has caught up. Good job there. Now we are just rolling around and getting ready for racing. So goosebumps here. The last time we saw rolling starts, and in fact, the last time we saw a rolling start specifically at Spa, or just racing at Spa, was the first race of 2025's GT World Challenge. And that, of course, was an absolute spectacular championship. And at the end, well, at the end of Spa, it really came down to the drivers in the mid-pack really jostling up for position. But now we have LMPs. We haven't seen LMPs since last year, but this is a brand new field of drivers that we've never seen before in this series. Evan saying, let Jaden start back there. He'll have a clean race. I don't know about that one. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. As we continue on here, beautiful, absolutely beautiful stack of cars. Miro, you can still try to join the session. You're always allowed to join into the session. If it works, it works. Try restarting, try everything you can. Whatever works for you. If you're able to get in, then, you know, you're free to race. As Miro, one of our debut drivers, it's this Belgium Grand Prix, his home race, but he's having a bit of technical issues. It's really frustrating. Really wish we could see him. All right, start to bunch up if you haven't already. Start to stick 2 by 2. Bus stop is going to be very tight as you head around the final chicane. We're going to be very patient as we come around here. The green flag will be waved off by me. I will be calling out when we go racing. So stay put and get ready for the action. There we go. Music off, crowd loving it. For Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club's Endurance Championship. What a journey it's been in 2025. Great championships. Steven, you just rejoined from the back. 2 by 2, 2 by 2, and let's get ready for the start. Here we go. This is it. CMRSC presents the 2025 Endurance Championship. Let's get this one underway. Green flag, green flag, green flag.
Here we go, racing now for 90 minutes. As we head into turn 1, you see Max Kit trying to find the inside of Christian Ramau. In the back, you see 4 wide of GTE cars trying to go through. Single file as best as they can. We have 2 cars, 3 cars going off. Looks to be teammates in the back, but at the top, we have an incredible battle. As you see, Max Kit has gone down to 3rd position, and Lucas Smith has been shuffled up the order. But now, as they're on the Kemmel Straight, who is going to be the first to let off here? Christian Ramau is going to be a sitting duck on the inside, and Max Kit's going to go down on the inside as well. It's 3 wide, heading into the next chicane here, down to 2. Max Kit might take the lead. Lucas Smith elbows out, dives it down the outside now, trying to hold on, cannot get it through. Kit in the lead, followed by Smith, and then it's Jaden Harris who's got a great run there. You also see Ramau trying to get through. Let's see what's going on back here. Peter Sabo leads it, followed by Eduardo. We also have Eamon Espear trying to challenge through. BMW versus Porsche versus Ferrari. Top 3 battling very close. Regan Milana trying to catch up to the field, but he's got a battle of his own behind him. And we also see a overtake change here. No, they're side by side as they head into Puan. Very close racing. They kind of start getting single file. We back up to the front field now. It's Max Kit in the lead. In the background, we also have some drivers. Some of them got it wrong, but they're getting to go. We also have Sven there trying to hold himself up on Rahul Partab. Incredible action all over your screen. So P8 is basically P1 for the GTE class, so keep an eye out on those different symbols on your screen. But meanwhile, looks like this GTE pack is already losing some ground, and that's natural. Now we see the LMP2 cars as they enter the first lap of this one. Take a look back here. 2 teammates here of the same organization here, as we also have overtake potentially as Lacey lifting off, losing out. And Nixon going around the long way, having the inside of the bus stop chicane going through. Nixon closing the door. But no, Lacey trying to get down onto the outside move there. Good action there, but Peter Sabo got a lead now. He has himself a great lead at the top. Behind them, let's take a look on board with Eduardo as Regan Milana trying to catch up to 4th position on track as they head through Eau Rouge now for the 2nd time here in this race. Looking very clear. Back up to the lead pack now, 7/10. Splits the difference between Lucas Smith and your race leader, Max Kit. Just gonna check audio levels, ladies and gentlemen, making sure everything's all good. Trying to catch up. We're all good to go there. Awesome stuff here as they head into Puan. Now, the LMP2s trying to hustle through, but we go on board with Lucas Smith, and he does not want to lose this opportunity to get back at Max. They've had a pretty heated rivalry already begin in the paddock. Some words being exchanged between them. We also have a move here down in the order. Sven and Eduardo, something's going on here, and Milana's lost the position there to Versti. Into Puan now, between the top drivers here, battling for what looks to be 5th position in this class. But very close action between them. Pit stops will be coming very soon for all the classes here. It's going to be a very exciting race, and we're going to find out what's going to go down here. Sven having some issues there, but oh, there's trouble. There's trouble for Lucas Smith, and Lucas Smith is off at the bus stop chicane. We remember in qualifying that he had made a massive error in the bus stop, took too much curb, spun the rear end, and he's dropped down the order to 5th place. That is very huge there from the Dutchman, making a mistake that now puts up Christian Ramau, who was on pole position, was really a sitting duck at the start of this one, had nowhere to go. He just defended the inside as best as he could. Down here, take a look at this. P13 also battling hard. Milana falling down to Rahul Partab in the Ford GT. And now the Ford goes to the outside, looking for a move on Eduardo. Into La Source.
Over under, good entry and exit there by the Guyanese of Rahul Partab. There you see that gap there from the GTE class, pretty packed up and close together. P7 of Danny Nasseir is the only driver who's kind of falling down the order of his class. On board with Rahul Partab. And he has a great slipstream on the Camel to the inside of the Porsche. Side by side in the 4GT. Can he put himself up a position? Yes, he can. The Guyanese is able to go up to overall 11, which is now P4 in his class. HP Racing's gonna love that one. He flashes, Eduardo flashes his headlights, saying, I'm still here. Don't you forget about me. And rightfully so. He's gonna try to stay close with that Ford, but it's just the slipstream on the back straight. Nothing can be done realistically. We look on board now with Lucas Smith because he has a chance of attacking Fleer and Harrison up the order. Harrison was unable to take part in qualifying. He was able to get a few practice laps in. He was a little bit busy heading in, but now as we get into racing conditions, Jaden Harrison, a week goes a little bit wide. Lucas Smith kind of backs out behind him. Mike Van Dorn also trying to follow through. Very hard racing. Let's go on board with Mike Van Dorn as you watch there. Smith goes down the inside. Trouble! Van Dorn makes contact with Flair, but luckily to both of them, nothing. No damage, looks to me. And they can continue racing. So Harrison leads off this pack. This is the battle for third position. Looks like Harrison has got a decent run. He's already exited out that slipstream. No chance for him to come back through. But in the term of the German against the Dutchman, Lucas Smith is going to get fourth position at the moment. And still incredible action here as Sven drops down to, looks to be Eamon, and Eamon up to second place in his class. So far, though, 6-second lead for the BMW of Peter Sabot. So great gap he's been able to pull out. A lot of action here as we have trouble for George Hall. Looks like he might have a little bit of damage on his car. Bola. Looks like he's a lap behind, but cautions will allow him to come up through the order. But those are your cars in the rear end of the field. We're still waiting until the cross between these cars and multi-class racing truly begins, where we're going to see some no hesiest trouble for Lucas Smith into the gravel. Huge chance for the German now. Flair has an opportunity. Where does he pick? Outside, inside. Pick your poison. He goes to the outside, which is going to turn to the inside of Blanchemont. What can he do now? Looking for the move down here for P4. Got it. But no, side by side into the bus stop. Does Smith fight back? He does. Enters through and oh, Van Dorn heads up. Oh, he makes contact with Flair, and Van Dorn gets the worst end of the stick. It's a second time that they make contact with each other. Van Dorn is getting very unlucky there. That's just gone from bad to worse at the moment, but luckily for them, that's a long race for these guys. They still have a lot of opportunity to catch back up the field. Meanwhile, let's take a look back here. Two Ferraris battling it out for P2. Oh, a little bit of grass collected. Should I say gravel collected from Eamon Asmir. The Italian has nowhere to go. Oh, a little bit of contact there from Sven and Eamon. A little cheeky. And that's going to drop down Eamon from second to third. Any chance he could send it up the bus stop chicane? Potentially lines it up, but backs out of the move, ultimately realizing that there's no space to go through there. Through the bus stop, and that is your battle. Continuing on for second. Sven this time around is going to hold on to P2 after a great overtake on that mistake from Eamon. However, as they head on to the straight now, the first straight, and as they head up through Eau Rouge, Radion, and then the Camel straight, things can still change around. Slipstream Fest potentially, who knows? Through Eau Rouge, Radion. Now the Italian has the opportunity. 6/10 in the slipstream. Little far though, so doesn't look like there's any opportunity to get past. Meanwhile, our race leader, Max Kidd, has already caught up to the first bit of traffic in Steven Bola. Behind him, Christian Ramau. This is where it's make or break through the traffic. The drivers know what's at stake. And any opportunity for an overtake, they're going to go through. Bola is doing a great job of letting through those cars. How easy is it going to be for the faster class of the LMP2s to go through the order? That's the big question that's on our hands. We haven't seen multi-class racing in so long at CMRSC. So, and with a brand new pack of drivers in the league, anything and everything can and will go down. Meanwhile, there's your race leader. He's got a long way to go until anybody touches him, especially that faster class. But he's currently smooth in the lead. Now, cautions can come out. VSCs could come out. We do not know when, if. That's the big questions on our hands here. As it stands right now, it's a very clean race going on. Here we have Bola. He's in the middle of the road, sticks to one side, allows Harrison to go through, and Smith's a little too far away to overtake the Ford GT. Is actually Bola is gonna do them a solid and wait just before he heads into the chicane. So great there. Oh, trouble. Something's gone wrong. Oh, it's Kasper Tazayaki. He's gone wide in the gravel. And that is not going to be helpful for his race there. He's dropped down the order. But take a look as we head up the field. And Eduardo goes down the inside. Oh, he's made contact with Rahul Partab. Oh, and Partab sitting duck. He's got it going. Caution does not come out. Able to go through. And he's just been tagged there. That's very unfortunate for him. The Porsche goes through, but will most likely be a penalty unless there was something iffy about the overtake. If maybe Partab swiped his nose a little too early trying to defend. All incidents are looked at by the end of the race, and the drivers have the reported incident channel to report anything that they don't like racing here. But now let's take a look at the LMP2 battle for third place. The prototypes as they head into the bus stop. Great braking there from Lucas Smith. He's been able to close up that gap just a bit. Crossing over the line here. Jaden Harrison, third. Smith in fourth. Lucas Smith is trying to catch back up from a mistake he had made early on in this race. Trying to right the wrongs here. Gap is 5/10. And it's slowly going down. Heading through Eau Rouge. Can anything be done here? Lucas Smith's got a great run. A fantastic run here. Potentially an overtake. 4/10. It's going to be late if he does make the move. Lucas Smith doesn't look like it. Backs out for the moment there. But he's gotten very close. So that's very good. He's been able to inch up closer on the gap now. Now, what can he do here? Into the right-hander. They both go a little bit wide together. A little twitch there from Lucas Smith. And that's probably the dirty air coming into effect. Oh, trouble there. But I think Luca also kicked up a bit of gravel. It's pretty even Steven between this battle here. And as this happens, Kidd has now caught himself up to the rear pack. And you see very wide there, Lucas Smith. But now Kidd has entered himself into the classes of the GTE. They're finally going to mix up. You take a look at that map there. And it's going to get very interesting as they start to mix up together. It's really going to affect this battle for sure. So Luca's going to want to get a move on. He needs to get this overtake done if he wants an opportunity to not get stuck in traffic. Still, once again, nose to tail. Gap is about 5/10. If you're loving what you're seeing, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our Discord. Link in the description. Get a part of the action. Oh, a little twitch once again from Luca. Exiting there. On the final corner, they also have now the Corvette of George Hall. Ready for the taking from both Harrison and Smith. But continuing on now. It's going to be very interesting. George looks like he's lifted off before they've even got to Eau Rouge. And yes, he has done so. So this battle does not get affected in the slightest. Gap, though, as they head onto the Camel, it's 1 second now. And Rahul has a little bit of trouble here as Layla trying to go through. A little bit wide there on the curb. Here comes Harrison now. They're going to get to the tight part of the circuit as they get ready to overtake now. Meanwhile, Kit is about to enter the main pack of GT cars. About 6 of them he's going to have to overtake very soon. Oh, a little more gravel once again from the Jamaican, and he's really feeling the pressure now into Pouan. Remember, one of the last times we were here, it was trouble. But now, watch this. Layla onto the inside. And now, Jaden able to go through another one. Oh, a little bit wide there. Luca. Little squirrely, but he's got going once again. He's lost a little bit of time. But there's your race leader as he cuts through the order. Take a look at that gap there. 5.4 seconds. And we're going to find out if a chance that Christian Rahul can be able to catch up through the order. But this is your closest battle we have on track. A very exciting battle, might I add, between Smith and Harrison. Who is going to take third position in this early stage of this Grand Prix? Take a look at this, though. One of the first pit stops, Rahul Partab, comes in for his first pit stop of the race, of many in this one, might I add. So the drivers have already completed 9 laps so far. So it's going to be very interesting to see what pit stops go down here. The strategy aspect as well. Well, let's look back to this battle here. And Harrison still great space. He's keeping himself ahead. He's doing a great job there. But you take a look at that track map. It's getting really, really tight now. All these drivers in this spec class now entering into the fray. He's got up next Eduardo. That is your man in 11th. You can see it's a great big deal of traffic for these guys here. He goes through and he's may have lost a little bit of time, but you also got to remember, all of them have to go through it. There you see Rahul passing one of the Porsches, has to get the other one. That's the one for 4th. Behind them, this is your battle. Oh, and you take a look at this. Lucas Smith has the inside on Jaden Harrison. Got the move. Lacey in the way, however. But they have the inside line. Lacey gets out the way. Jaden Harrison not going to let up this third position that easily. Looks to the outside. Very tight racing. Harrison trying to hold on. And Harrison loses the spot there. May have touched the gravel, because I didn't see them that closer to Lacey. But up next, it is Nixon on the inside. Bit of a lift. Oh, it's dirty air. Jaden Harrison could not follow Lucas Smith there. Lucas got the move. And with the help of traffic, he's able to pull up that gap. That's exactly what he needed. Meanwhile, traffic is working perfectly for our race leader in the LMP2. Your prototype race leader now up to 7 seconds. Rahul was really struggling through this traffic phase. See, if you want to be reeling in your LMP2 counterparts, you gotta pray that they get stuck in traffic in one of the slowest parts of the circuit. Harrison now up through and overtaking your local taxi. Officer Milana lost his job as being a police officer, and he's decided to take the role of a taxi driver. Love the livery out there from him, but Jaden Harrison is going to want anything but that livery ahead of him as we continue on this beautiful Belgium Grand Prix as we head into the afternoon of this one. Smith gets past another car here, and Harrison is going to have a little trouble now. Ooh, it's not going to help him in the slightest. He went through a little too hot. Through the chicane, exits out. Little damage from him. Little love tap, I should say. Hasn't hampered anything. Kit still in the lead. Oh, a little pick up there. You can see the curb and the gravel. Also, Van Dorn also kicking it up as well as he's trying to chase down Maximilian. Ooh, not the best there. Little deep. Van Dorn goes, almost runs into the rear of the taxi. Had to get out the way. Now, Eduardo having to let through Max, and Max is on the outside. Big opportunity for Harrison. Should I say, sorry, for Van Dorn to close up just that bit more. And now down to 1.1. Meanwhile, Steven enters pit lane for his mandatory pit stop. Well, I should say mandatory. It's kind of mandatory for the fuel tank. And there you look. Look at that. Finally, the two race leaders of both classes meet together. Max and Peter together on track. That's beautiful. Love to see that. Now, as we continue this race, Max and Peter are going to say their goodbyes to one another. Because it's going to be quite a while till they see each other again. Hey, you just think about it. What was that? About 24 minutes? 24 minutes under green flag conditions, you see a driver lapping. But as this race goes on, P5 up for grabs. Because Van Dorn has found himself up, he's now 7/10 behind the German for an overtake. And what can he do now? Into the braking zone. Right, left-hander. Oh, trouble. What has happened here? Oh, Lucas Smith's gone down. Lucas Smith has lost third position. Jaden Harrison shuffles up. Did he go wide? Did he make any sort of mistake? That's the real question there, but nonetheless, he's lost out of position to something. I don't know what exactly it was. But he's gone down, and Jaden Harrison is back to third position in this one. And still racing down to the final hour of this race. The final 1 hour mark. And still, racing is looking pretty close. Pit stop strategies are going to come up very soon for this pack of racers. But either way, this is incredible racing now as we watch Lucas Smith. He's closed up the gap brilliantly now, and he's about to catch up to Jaden Harrison, but very deep there. Had to avoid, go to the inside. A little too much sauce there. And luckily, no contact was made between each other. Harrison still third position. They now catch up to the race leader. And that's going to be the last they're going to see of a GTE for quite a while. It's going to be open space from there. And also, we also have a position being made here. Van Dorn gets the move done on Fleer. I don't know if it was the help of Sven not being in the right place at the right time. But either way, Van Dorn has got the move done and dusted. He's up to fifth. We also have this battle here. Jaden Harrison is following the slipstream of... Well, I thought he was following the slipstream of Peter Sabo. Oh, he's actually touched the grass. Little too hard. Goes wide off the circuit. Harrison rejoins back. He was still ahead, so we can continue racing. As they are. Touch the grass on the outside. Probably watching Smith trying to go for a move. Nixon in for a pit stop there for the Porsche. And this battle still continuing to heat up. Now Luca, potentially is there a chance at Puan? No, there is not. Still, this battle continues to be so close. Pit stop strategies are going to be very interesting in this one. Into the right, into the left. Double right-hander now. Ooh, very close. Ooh, did I see Smith potentially touch the gravel on the outside? Don't feel like it because he's still all over the rear of the Jamaican. And potentially this could be his best opportunity possible
for an overtake to take back home third position. To the bus stop, Jaden defends the inside. Smith's gonna go around the long way. It's gonna be close. They both go deep. Harrison defends brilliantly. Oh, but he turns in too early. Lucas Smith hits the sausage curb, loses out a couple tenths. And their gap kind of resets back to about 7 tenths as it was the previous lap. More pit stops potentially to come very soon. As your race leader for GTE, Peter Sabot, comes in for his pit stop for BMW. So your new race leader is now going to be Sven. Still yet to make his pit stop. Fuel's going to come up very shortly. The drivers have about 13, 14 laps before they need to make that pit stop. But take a look at this side by side on the Camel. And Smith looks like he's got the move done on Harrison. Squeezes him. It's contact side by side. Oh, that's intense. He's lifting off. I think Jaden may realize that was not the best. He lets off through. I think he's going to let Luca back over. And they continue. That was very close. Through that one, Harrison gonna be a gentleman there and allow Lucas Smith back to position. It's a little bit dirty, tapping him on the outside. Pit stops are going in now for a lot of the GTE cars, including Eamon, Regan, Casper, Eduardo, Lacey, and Layla. Those are your drivers there in the pits. So big pit stops there from that pack. And take a look at the pit exit here, side by side, between Taziaki and Lacey. And hear that grumble there of the Corvette. Woo! That's awesome. Let's get back up to the front here as they head into Blanchimont. Lucas Smith, 4 tenths ahead. Jaden Harrison's going to be on the slipstream. Intense fight here between them. And loving this rivalry that could be brewing up. Ooh, but into the, bus stop chicane. They make contact a second time in this lap. Trying to stomp on the brakes, Lucas Smith. Brilliant defense. Lucas still in third. Jaden Harrison looks to the outside, the inside. Oh, he's made contact. Contact a second time with Lucas Smith. Let's through. And Jaden's taking it to the pits. Jaden Harrison in the pit lane. He's teleported. Why did he teleport? He was having a great battle. That was an absolute fantastic battle. Lots of contact there. Trying to follow through. Jaden Harrison in the pits. Are we going to see our first retirement from this Belgium Grand Prix, this endurance championship? That is a huge shame if that's the case. And we're finding out now Jaden Harrison's headset has died and he wasn't able to hear the car. And that unfortunately is going to cost Jaden Harrison big points in this one. So that's quite a shame there from the Jamaican. Great battling, but unfortunately it's kind of just ended off in a very sour note. Jaden Harrison, your first retirement in this one. And we are down to an overall 18 driver field in this Belgium Grand Prix. It's a bit of a shame there. Continuing on this race, however, your race leader, Max Kitts, is now getting through lap traffic for the second time in this race. Lacey gonna get overtaken first, followed by what looks to be the Corvette of Taziaki. And so far, Kit has got that 9-second lead. He's looking great. And now we just have 1 more hour of racing left to go. 30 minutes of racing is done just like that. In about 15 minutes, we would be reaching the average of CMRSC regular events, 45 minutes long. Rarely we've seen the 1 hour mark racing, but it's a huge shame for Jaden Harrison in this one.
your first retirement, who normally this would have been the end game of a regular race. So been even more of a bigger heartbreak. He's still going to be, he still partook in today's race if he's going to get last place points. I believe it's 3 points to his name, but it's a missed opportunity for top 3. Let's head back up into this fight here as Van Doorn now catching up to a car that looks just like him. He's going to be doing the Spider-Man meme, pointing out to that Ferrari of Layla. But still continuing on, Van Doorn now enters the top 3. All the GTEs have pits, so it's now down to the LMP2 class to make their pit stops. And we're soon going to see that. And you look there, a little bit going wide. One of the LMP2s, I think that was Smith, I believe? No, that was not. Yes, it was. It was Lucas Smith. 9 seconds back. Christian Ramau from the overall race leader in the prototype class. And his lead is still looking great. But pit stop strategies are going to come in shortly. We're going to figure out what's going to go down there. Is Ramau going to go to the outside of track limits to try to get the overtake on the Ford GT of Rahul Pratap? And he gets through, but the gap now is opened up to 11 seconds here in this one. Let's take a look at another close battle we have on track here. Let's go down through the order, and let's take a little update, actually, before we get through that. Let's take a look at the drivers here. Starting off with the man who's currently last place in the GTE class, Stephen Bola. Unfortunately, I think he was having some technical issues getting into the session, so he had missed the grid up, and he's been put down a lap. The only thing that could save him now is a virtual safety car. That would be very helpful for his case. Next up, though, we have George Hall, who's entering pit lane for the second time, I believe. Yes, he is, potentially for the second time now. The Corvette coming in, the British driver, making his return. It's been quite a while since he had joined us in. I think he just teleported to pits, potentially. I did see him for the moment there. He had a little weird twitch. And we're going to hope that he's still taking his pit stop, but we haven't seen him in quite a while of racing. But Hall is back. And it's awesome to see him join us once again. We have Layla in the junior team of this one. Just to give you the exact team name of who she is in, this is Team Falcon Shift. Of course, the livery may be very iconic in the world of Formula Drift, for example, and other forms of motorsports. She is in the junior class. So let's head up now through the order once again. Let's catch up here to the portion now of Nixon. The Trini on track here, going through Blanchimont. Show me your heart. And Nixon's teammate, Anna Adam, is the final competitor in the LMP2 class. Unfortunately, could not make it out into today's race. But we will be seeing Anna Adam in the future rounds. Next up, it is Lacey Fancher in the Ferrari for Spirit Racing. And there's actually 3 Spirit Racing cars on track. We're going to point them out as we go on through this one. But in the Ferrari, at least the one Ferrari out of 2 for Spirit Racing, it is Lacey. Following up now, Kasper Tazayaki, also in Team Falcon Shift. He's specifically in Falcon Shift AM, the amateur side of things, as he sees Lucas Smith dancing around Rahul Pratap. And you hear one of the best sounding cars, according to the drivers, the Corvette. Man, let's take a listen to that thing. He's chasing down Rahul Pratap. Ahead of him, he's also got somebody else he's just letting through, and that is one of the Spirit Racing cars. And Partab goes a little bit wide, as well as Tazayaki. But there you see the Guyanese of HP's Racing. He's teammates with Tej Loboy and Stephen Bola. They all are running identical liveries to one another. And we're actually going to stick with this battle because this is your closest battle we now have on track. So they are currently battling for 6th position in their class. So huge chance at a move here between these guys. They've already made pit stops. So now, big potential for a move. Slipstream, and there you see the flashing headlights of Tatsuyaki saying, get a move on or I will get a move on right past you. And just ahead, though, it's about 5 seconds between Partab and Eduardo as they head through the bus stop. Looking very close between each other, heading into La Source, and what can be done between them both. 53 minutes left to go in the first round of the CMRC Endurance Championship. It's been a great showcase of racing here in this one. I think we potentially are getting word from George Hall. Yes, we are from the paddock. Unfortunately, he was in contact earlier in the race, and the wheel is rig wheel may have had some issues with force feedback, and unfortunately he's going to be retiring from this one because of that. So technical issues coming from the British driver of George Hall. Shout out to you. Thank you for joining us here today. Hopefully we'll see you in the next one. We're happy to see you back racing with us. It's a bit of a shame there that we've now lost 2 competitors in this event here today. But as we continue racing on here, Tazayaki still trying to find a way to get past Rahul Partab. And they're now going to enter into Puan. And anything can be done here. They're both American manufacturers, very close together. But Partab is doing a great job. In real life, Rahul Partab is an endurance racer in his home country of Guyana, back at South Dakota Circuit. Recently, however, he's been taking a side drift and working on some personal things in his life. But nonetheless, he's a real racer, and Tazayaki knows that all too well and is going to want to find a way to get crafty. It's not going to be that easy to get past Rahul Partab without a mistake, but Partab is not prone to making mistakes that easily. Rahul Partab so close to getting sprint race victories, but just incident upon incidents not caused by himself. It's a bit of a shame how none of them could ever just work together. Lucas Smith for the LMP2 class has now entered pit lane. The first driver in his class to do so. And that is very, very interesting now compared to the rest of the pack. Strategies are going to get interesting because so far it is still green flag racing. No opportunity to save fuel whatsoever. A lot of the drivers potentially just staying out, praying that there's some sort of caution that will bring a lot of them closer together. Just for your race leaders, however, they do not want anything of it. Throw Rouge. Can Tazayaki close up that gap just a bit more? He's quite a long ways away. However, there may be trouble for Sven. I think there may have been some sort of contact between himself and Stephen Bola. We did get a pop-up on our screens, but at the moment, still looks normal. Meanwhile, Tazayaki runs off the circuit, loses some time. Not really. He's pretty close to Partab. May have broke a little too deep. But this battle is still very much close together as they go through No Name. Nose to tail now. And that Corvette may be looking for a move right about now. We go on board with Partab defending the inside. Oh, very wide though is Tazayaki. He's going to lose a lot of time. And just like that, that gap has opened up. It may not look like much on your screen there, but it's just opened up to about 5/10 into the chicane now. And take a look at your top 2 drivers. They actually are now in pit lane. Max Kit in there, as well as Christian Ramau. It leaves Mike Van Doorn to take the lead of this race. And we also now have the German of Fleer heading into La Source and is going to be overtaking both of those guys who are sitting in pits. Very long pit stop for these guys, so they're going to get caught through with some traffic potentially. It's going to be Kit who will be the first one to come out on track between these two. So still service being made behind them. The taxi coming in of Regan. And they head out on circuit. Max is already out there on track. And take a look at where they blend off, because it's blended off between Tazayaki and Partab. And we didn't see it live, but Tazayaki has got the move done on Rahul Partab. Bit of a shame we didn't see that there live. But it has now allowed these two drivers to get really interesting with each other. But look at the overspeed from the 4GT! From the outside, dodges to the inside. Partab could regain the spot door to door. Tazayaki runs deep and is going to relinquish the spot to Partab. Partab at the inside, he was ahead. Tazayaki's down. That was some crazy overspeed there. Incredible. Well, meanwhile, let's continue this one. Danny Nasseir now entering for his mandatory pit stop. And now here comes your race leader, your new race leader, who's now going to enter pits, Mike Van Doorn. Long stop for him. 20 laps. A tank can do for these guys. And they've raced hard, so they're hopefully going to want to attempt a one-stopper. But if it stays green, well, they're going to have to start saving some fuel. Fleer's also going to come in for his stop. Oh, trouble for him. Did he miss his box? I'm not too sure, but he made some sort of issue, a mistake. Coming in, Danny Nasseir exits out pits, but Fleer now is in for his pit stop, and something went wrong because it looked to be slowing down in the wrong box, maybe. I'm not too sure about that, but what I am sure about is the gap that Tazayaki was able to pull back out on Rahul Partab, because Rahul Partab is now coming in for his second pit stop of this race. So he is in now. And as he does his pit stop, we look up to the German, who's now going to exit out. Back on circuit. And he can now focus on trying to get back this position from Van Doorn and Lucas Smith as well. They were both battling hard. I'm noticing that Luca is down behind Van Doorn. I'm not too sure if that was the case early on in this race. Pretty sure Van Doorn was behind Smith, so... we're figuring it out. Lucas Smith actually had to pit a second time, so it's lost him out a lot of time. So Luca pitting very early on, so he's the only driver in the prototype class to make two pit stops. Potentially, he may have pitted early to now successfully have enough fuel by the end of this race. That's going to be very interesting to know by the end of this one. Potentially, a pit stop like this could undercut the whole field ahead of him. And if they have to save fuel and he's made this early pit stop, the lead could be his by the end of it. But he's got a lot of work to do to catch up. And the first driver to come up to is the man in third place, Mike Van Doorn. He's got a little bit of traffic, though, from Eduardo. And he's just gone through. Next up, Van Doorn has Partab to pass. Actually, no, it's Steven Bola. Both of them running identical cars. And the Dutchman still holding off ahead. And now into the bus stop chicane. Gap between them, 3.2 seconds. And also Luca's going to have to overtake Bola on this front straight as soon as possible. Looks like Bola's going to stay predictable, stay on one side of the circuit. And he's going to do so brilliantly there. So he's not going to hamper his charge, Luca Smith's charge. He's trying to find and overtake his fellow countrymen for third position. A great set of racing. If you are loving the action, make sure to hit that subscribe button, as we are on course for 1,500 subscribers. It would mean a lot. 18 concurrent viewers. Make sure to like the stream if you're liking it. Marlon Young in the chat. What is up? 1/2 or 1/3, I should say, of your Team X play. Love to see the support there. Meanwhile, Luca dancing around the curbs, but lost a tad bit of time as Nixon coming in for his pit stop. And yep, he is in now. That leaves some of these guys out on track still to make a pit stop. Overcuts, undercuts, really going to be the big talking point. So far, no cautions in this one. However, there might be trouble. Oh, I may have spoke too early. Layla was in the wall at Radion. Has gotten going. Is there damage visibly? Doesn't look like there is any damage. I think it may have been a spin. Through Eau Rouge, nothing could be done. I didn't want to jinx it. I almost did. But no. Oh, trouble. No, once again, spins it. Now, a caution only needs to be coming out if there's a lot of traffic coming up the order. P16, Nixon coming up. Will a caution come out? Oh, almost. Almost. There was contact. And Layla going through, and luckily we did not need to throw it out here. Okay, I should stop talking about cautions because they might actually happen. Wait, there's trouble, potentially. We did see some yellow flags. Oh, trouble for Stephen Bola! I gotta keep my mouth shut, ladies and gentlemen! I cannot be talking anymore about... Oh, no, it's a lot of oversteer. Bola, rightfully so, overheating his tires, taking it to the pits. Wow. 3 opportunities that could have ended in disaster for 2 of these drivers. We look back here now to Layla looking, fighting that Ferrari actually. Behind is your race leader, Kit. And he's not gonna know that Layla has some overcooked tires and is just babying it to the pits potentially. We're trying everything to calm it down. You see everyone's on the medium compound. No soft tire. Here comes your race leader there, and Layla desperately trying to cool down these tires. Able to hold on now into the bus stop. In that car, slowed down as much as possible. Sliding the rear once again, staying out. Layla stays out on circuit. And that's going to be a very interesting strategy call. We remember, oh, whoa! Nixon, was that lag? No, it doesn't look to be. But I think Max is going to realize that there is something terribly wrong with that Porsche head. Connectivity issues, and needs to get a move on immediately past, or just to stay safe. Oh, there's a lot of lag. There is a lot of lag there. Nixon trying to do his best to get out the way and stay far right, and does so. That's a very scary moment, especially through the fastest part of the circuit. One of the more dangerous parts, dangerous corners in racing. Luckily, though, nothing has happened, and everyone is safe from that. But that could have been very bad. That could have been race ending. This damage percentage, it is only up to about 75%. But with a hard enough crash, it could total your engine. So, and the drivers know that too. So they really have to be playing it nice out there. And just being patient. But as it stands, we have 40 minutes left to go in this race. Eduardo coming in for a pit stop. Mandatory to get that fuel change in. Possibly take some fresh medium tires. As interestingly now, we are noticing that Lacey is going on a long stint, taking on the harder compound tires. Now the mediums, a lot of the drivers are using, but if a lot of them are overcooking it quite a bit, having some trouble. The harder compounds, a lot more harder to keep up to temperature, but that can also favor you if you're a driver who may have a setup that's a little too oversteery. That could potentially leave you in a spin. All of those are big factors. So, interesting strategy call. It's now put Lacey into 5th position in her class. And might I say, beautiful livery there through the order. But, actually, speaking of through the order, we have not been going through the order ever since we got up to Taziaki and Partab, which ever since pit stops were made, Partab has been in the pits, Taziaki stayed out, he's in 3rd. So let's take a look at your race leader, Max Kit. Now, unfortunately, he's going to take a 5-second time penalty by the end of this race. He jumped the pit stop, not the pit stop, the qualifying queue. Drivers are required to stay in their pit box. It's in the rules, and he came out about 3 seconds too early, jumped the whole field, and it has cost him a 5-second time penalty. However, now good news for him, if this thing stays green throughout the whole race, we could be seeing this penalty not even affect him in the slightest. He's an 18-second gap to P2's Christian Ramau, the man who took pole position for this Belgium Grand Prix, and will also earn himself a bonus point in this championship. George Hall calling out to Nixon has a lot of lag. We did see it on stream, but at the same time, it has looked to calm down in this race, so still looking very good out there. Let's take a look at our man in 3rd position, Mike Van Dorn. Now, not in total freedom like the other 2 drivers ahead, because behind him it is Luca Smith. Now, Luca is catching up very fast, and so far the gap is about 2.53 seconds. With the help of traffic, here comes Layla, identical cars here. These are the type of things that's going to take you down to 10th, but that's not going to help, as Luca takes it to the gravel and is going to lose the opportunity he had of potentially putting it down to 2 seconds. It's 2.5, however. Slipstreaming and getting the move done there on Layla. So this is your closest battle, actually our second closest battle. Taziaki and Partab are back close together because Taziaki has made his pit stop and has gone through. So 2 battles to watch out for in this one, in both of the classes. Let's take a look at P5, the German of Fleer. And it's been quite a while since we've seen a German driver in CMRSC. I right now cannot recall the last time we've seen a German in CMRSC, but as we talk about him, your race leader for GTE comes in the GT class of the Hungarian Peter Sabot. Danny Nasseir, 6th position. Unfortunately, the only move he's made on a driver has been Jaden Harrison, but that's because of the retirement. So he's currently 6th. Points to his name, of course. The top 8 are all guaranteed for points in the GTE class. The LMP2 class. As you see, Nasseir going around the outside of Bola. But Danny has not really been finding his footing. He's told me that the fixed setup has really been hard to understand for some of these corners, especially through the bus stop. Danny has been having a bit of trouble with it, and unfortunately, it's not really been able to allow him the battles that he wants, especially considering he was your IMSA LMP, the IMSA DPI prototype champion of 2023 after 12 rounds. So, you know, it's a big step down in this race, but of course we were only racing in North America. Hopefully we'll see him do better in the next round, which is coming up for the Italian Grand Prix at Imola. And we have not seen Imola yet on the calendar for CMRC, so it should be pretty awesome to see what pans out. Now, your current race leader now, after Peter Sabot has pit, it is Sven, who's now in your race lead. Provisional race leader still needs to make a mandatory pit stop. But as it stands right now, holds on to P1, P2 as well, after he makes his pit stop. Behind him, that is your race leader who had made that pit that he needed, Peter Sabot. The GTE class should potentially be making about, I believe, one more stop in this one. I think both classes still need to make one more pit stop. However, as for the LMP2s, they could save fuel. It is possible to save fuel and hold on out, but it's a pretty tall ask in this one. But actually, let's go on board. Is he potentially saving fuel? Peter Sabot on board. We'll take a listen to his engine as he heads into the bus stop chicane. A little wide through Blanchimont. And doesn't look like it. I believe he's still pushing. So that's your man in P2, who's now going to inherit P1. Nasseir fighting for the podium. The Italian still looking for his first championship. Oh, so close in Porsche Cup. A little close back out at TCR. But brand new championship for him. Brand new championship for the team. You see that Fiat, that iconic sticker. First time we saw him was back for the Formula One championship earlier this year. And ever since, he's really been a really fun driver to watch, especially throughout battles. The closest he was to a championship was, of course, Porsche Cup, but unfortunately did not go his way in the final round in Japan at Fuji. So he still hunts for his first championship, but first-time champions are apparent in Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club for this year. Of course, the last series in TCR, it was Peter Sabot, your current race leader, looking to go back-to-back championship wins. We haven't seen that in quite a long time. In Porsche Super Cup, it was Sven for taking his first championship. In CMRSC, as we see now, Kit now looking for the overtake on, Nasseir looking for the inside, could not get it. In Formula One, Cody Lawrence, who we know he is one of the open-wheel aliens in the league, currently races for Formula Trout. I think that's probably one of his best-known leagues because RSS do promote Formula Trout quite a lot, and rightfully so. Very good competitive league to watch. And he was our champion there. So that's the three previous championships have all gone to brand new champions in CMRSC. And then, of course, we head on to the first championship, the GT World Challenge. And that went to the man taking his fourth CMRC trophy, Mike Van Dorn, which was a dominant performance from him. Ever since, though, for Van Dorn, he's still been a competitive driver, but he's not been championship contention. At least the best campaign as he had done back at the GT World Challenge. That was GT3 Racing. GT3 Racing starts us off every year. The 2026 series is set to start first week of January. You do not want to miss out on that. But let's continue the order, shall we? And a car that I love very well. It's a special livery. For the front of the car, at least, I believe. I think that's the only change that swaps different. Antoine Hubert, who unfortunately passed away in real life at this circuit here a couple years ago in a Formula 2 race. That was just honestly a tragedy. Very sad, and for his family there, and for the racing world that missed out on an amazing driver. Personally, for me, I mean, where were you when you found out that news? You know, we don't hear these kind of issues like it was prevalent back in the early 50s, 60s, 70s, where safety was a secondary. But yeah, where were you when you found out that Anton Hubert had unfortunately had that incident right here at this circuit as well? And as we go through Eau Rouge, Van Doren makes a brave move there on the outside because he is actually trying to escape the clutches of Lucas Smith that we'll switch to right about now. But, you know, it's a bit of a shame that the racing world has lost such a prospect. Regardless, though, he's running a special livery for today in the taxi. Love it. We're going to head back up the battling here because we now have the battle for third place. Lucas Smith has closed up the gap, and with 30 minutes left to go in this race, plenty of time to challenge Mike Van Doren for third. Lucas Smith's really been the hot shot around here. He's been one of the fastest guys, one of the guys to really talk his talk, and fair to him, he walks his walk as well on track. Still looking for his first race win. He has been a podium merchant, as some would call, and he's been on the podium in every race weekend for the TCRs. He was in for sprints, back-to-back, Donington Park, and the Nordschleife. What an event. Also, by the way, that German Grand Prix was the Nürburgring Nordschleife, Nürburgring 24 virtual, the first ever. Will it be the last ever? Will it be more to come in the future? We'll have to wait and find out, and you can find out all those details. You join our Discord in the description. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club, CMRSC. That's where you're going to get all the latest of details. But as for the details going on for this race, well, you're looking right now at your battle for third position. And that's still looking very quick. I wish we could see the fuel for these guys and how much they have. Unfortunately, you look at the steering wheel, for example, in Lucas' car, you can't really see anything. No TC, no slip, no tires, just... Well, I see fuel at 20, so I'm not too sure what that means exactly. They're already past that one. But take a look at that GPL. I believe that's just the Delta. And he's about 0.2 quicker on this lap. And I'm going to confirm that furthermore. Luca is... Yeah, he is. He's 0.2 faster, so that steering wheel was actually correct. So as racing continues here in this beautiful day, beautiful sunny day at Spa for the Belgium Grand Prix. This is your battle we are taking a look at here as Luca goes a little bit wide. Your battle for third overall and third for the prototype class. Also have some positions made down here, potentially. No, it's not. I think that was just our leaderboard just being funny. Let's go rear cam there as Van Doren a little bit wide. Back on. And then to the next chicane here. Looking for any opportunity. Could there be a move for Lucas Smith? And you know what? It's actually a very good transition. I know we're in the middle of a battle. But we can get the drone camera working once again. Which, yes we do. As this battle continues, let's get a shameless plug out the way. Thrustmaster! That's a horrible sound there, oh my goodness. Thrustmaster and Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. We're affiliates of Thrustmaster, and we're very happy to announce it today, earlier today. You can use code CMRSC at checkout on Thrustmaster's official website for 10% off. I cannot believe I'm saying that's a long time coming here for CMRSC and getting affiliation from Thrustmaster. Oh, a little hip check there from Eamon. Eamon's gonna be like, what the heck, dude? What did I do? There's a sitting duck here. Oh, a sitting Ferrari. But yes, we are with Thrustmaster, and we're very happy to be a part of an amazing company in sim racing, one of the pioneers of sim racing to this day. Personally, I own a lot of Thrustmaster products and love them so much, but you know, to get an affiliation from them is absolutely amazing. Oh, trouble! Luca Smith! Oh, he's half spun it in the gravel! Oh, it's absolutely huge! Swiftly, he's got going! Caution doesn't come out, we're good! And still, we're at a caution-free race with 24 minutes left to go. Danny Nasseir goes a little bit wide, however, but he has blue flags, lets through Luca. Luca making a mistake into the chicane there after the Kemmel straight. And now he's lost down a lot of time. 10 seconds. Behind the man in P3, it's gone from bad to worse. Luca, countless errors and mistakes. Some of his own and some not his fault. And oh no. It's just going downhill for him in this first round. It's just not going his way. And once again, he's going to have to overtake Eamon, and Eamon's going to remember what he did to him at La Source. Hopefully they play nice, and it was just an accident. Let's play nice. Luca's going to go to the outside, and I think so. Yeah. No harm done there. Maybe Eamon not taking that one personally, realizing maybe he just went too deep, saw that they were in a battle together. Got a little whiplash. Sun's coming down here at Belgium. We got the final 23 minutes left. The time on your screen, 2:10, is actually not the official time in the server. As behind them... Oh, Danny Nasseir! Has he been taken out by Eamon? That is a very weird angle we just caught the rear of. I'm not too sure if they just make contact, but either way, Danny Nasseir behind the Ferrari of Eamon. Just rewatching it on our stream here, just to try to get a closer look and see. Was there contact? No, there was not. Okay, no. So Eamon did not make any contact with Danny Nasseir. Danny just went a little too deep into the chicane as he goes through Eau Rouge radio now. And we'll be able to get this overtake there to the outside. Very interesting, but as all that was going on, Smith into the pits, and it should be a short fuel stop for these guys. And right back out on track. The taxi behind them coming in for his final pit stop. And now they race on to the checkered flag with 22 minutes left to go. So a very interesting incident there that just transpired. Regardless, though, we're still racing hard. It's a caution-free Belgium Grand Prix for this first round, and very interesting. We thought there would be a lot of incidents in this one, but Spa being a very big track, nonetheless, it's allowed lots of open racing. And take a look at this. Lacey and Milana for 13th overall. And this is 6th place in the GTE class. That Ferrari is going to have the overspeed now, slipstreaming, and going to be looking for a move. To the outside, side by side, Ferrari versus Porsche. Who's going to be the first one to let up here in the final 21 minutes? Looks like the Porsche does not have the legs to keep up at that drag race to the chicane. And Lacey getting the move there. 6th position, 7th to Regan Milana. The taxi's got a long way to try to get back through. A couple more drivers to look at before we complete fully all the drivers. We've taken a look in this race and had a bit of a talk. Noticing my Corvette just stuck there. I think that's my car. And, oh, there's trouble, P2. Who was that? That was Bola. And Steven is good. I'm just going to take this to the pits there quickly. Hopefully that's going to solve that. So just ignore that on the top of your screen there the best you can. But we are coming down to the final 20 minutes of this incredible race here today. Ahead of Tazayaki, it's Eduardo. And looks like going to be staying ahead because Casper is going to take it into the pits for his final pit stop. The Brazilian in the Porsche. I believe this is his first race. I hope I am not wrong with that information. But so far, he's, well, honestly had a mid kind of race. He's currently sitting 4th as it stands. Partab also in the pit lane. As Tazayaki comes out, he's going to be kicking himself, being like, come on, get me out here. Maybe no tires, just gas. Let me know if you understand where that one comes from. We're coming down to it. Oh, and take a look at traffic galore. Up here. Flair catching up to Layla. Had to overtake Sven that we're on board with. And Fleer starting to close up this gap. And we also see Van Dorn, can he get the open gap? Put the power down. Brave and gets through. Race is not quite over until it's over. Van Dorn has Fleer ahead. There you see him. Ahead of them, it's Danny Nasseir. I thought that was Christian Ramau. For a moment, it is not. Ramau, 42 seconds ahead of the German. And so far, it's really been a close race for some of these mid-pack drivers, really reminiscent of what we saw back at the Belgium Grand Prix for the GT World Challenge back in January. It's been very interesting, the type of racing that's really panned out. Meanwhile, where is Partab in relation to Taziaki? A little far away. Looks like Partab needs to get a move on now if he wants to come back through. 18 minutes left to go. A couple of different things we can do with the leaderboard here. Let's keep it down. Let's keep it down to just one thing. See, there's all the full names that are on screen there. So can we pin this? There we go. So there we go, we got some full names on the screen there. Little change of pace. We have 17 minutes left to go. Remember, next week out, you do not want to miss it. Same time, same place. For where you catch your streams. But for these drivers, they're going to be racing at Imola. And it's going to be a whole different dynamic of racing. These guys are going to be facing off a much shorter circuit, 90 seconds. As you see Peter Savo, your race leader for GTE, desperately trying to get out the way for this battle here. 2/10 the difference. You do not want to miss Imola. If the racing is going to be something like this, well, times that by 1,000 for the action that's going to go down. Max, a million against Mike Van Dorn. Through Blanchemont, side by side. Max got the inside. No, it's Mike Van Dorn who has the inside. Trying to hold on through the bus stop. Able to successfully get the move done through the chicane. And Mike Van Dorn is up to third position. Now, for how long can Fleer come back through here? Maximilian is down to fourth place. Still a chance. Tej saying, luckily my full name isn't there. We missed you, Tej. Hope to see you racing with us soon. I know you're going to be cheering on your team, especially Partab, who's had amazing battlings throughout this race in terms of Bola. Unfortunately, no caution has been able to help him out, but he is racing for some healthy points coming to the end of this one. It's a bit of a shame. No cautions, which is a good thing. But as the sun starts to set down here at Belgium, with 16 minutes left to go. It's been an incredible race. Clean, no caution, so that is the lucky part. We have seen a lot of spins. Actually, to be honest, not many spins we have seen in this race. And, well, luckily, they've all been able to get going. So that's the good part. But either way, we continue to watch this battle here. One of the, looks like, last close battles we have. Anybody still yet to make a pit stop? That's a question that I have on my mind. I don't think I'll be able to get the answer that easily. I think maybe some drivers you can look for a pit stop very soon. Let's see. Danny Nasseir in the LMP class. He's about 2 laps down, so actually he might be able to make it on fuel to the end. But we're more looking at potentially Eduardo. He's currently 10 laps in for his stint. Eamon's at 9. So both of those guys could be coming in. Keep an eye out for Eamon. He's third place right now. And there you see him. Anything we can see on the... Oh, trouble. for one of the Ferraris of Layla. Gets it wrong. Any information we could snipe out here past the text on the screen? No, it doesn't look like it. Unfortunately, we're not able to see. Just able to see a pretty Hatsune Miku on this car. I believe that's Hatsune Miku. I don't know if I got that right. But if anybody knows that in chat, you can let me know. Nonetheless, though, the longest Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club event coming to a close in the final 15 minutes. What a journey it's been in this one. And the sun is setting down quick, and your race leader is coming in, so that actually makes it interesting. So they had about 11 laps before coming in for their pit stop. So, in fact, the GTE guys are going to have one more stop if your name is Eduardo or Eamon, because Sabot came in. Couldn't make it on fuel. Maybe these guys may not have it. They should have about 6 laps left to go for the GTE guys anyways. But there you see race leaders coming together again. But as we close out this Belgium Grand Prix, the sun is setting, and the server and track time is set to start at 8 a.m. and end at 8 p.m. However, we could be going into potential overtime. We could be finishing at 9 p.m. It may be a dusk ending to this race. Hard endurance racing for all these guys here, as Eduardo, I did call it, comes in and looks like coming right back out. I think it's just a quick splash and dash for these guys. Maybe somebody who may not need to make a pit stop could be Casper. Pitted 3 laps ago. Could potentially make it on fuel. Anybody close we can watch on track? Fleer is trying to close up this gap between himself and Van Dorn. They're both cutting through traffic on board with the German through Eau Rouge. And still trying to hunt down to get this final place on the podium in his debut for CMRSC. Can anything be done here? One last moments of an overtake in this race. One thing I have also noticed, no time penalties, no drive-through penalties coming from real penalty. The drivers have about 8 cut tracks to go through, but luckily we have not seen any penalties go down, but anything at this point would be race ending. No chance to come back from it. As it stands, doesn't look like there's any sort of cautions that could come out. And still, this race comes to a close now. It's 6 o'clock Eastern and 3 o'clock Western now, as we close off this fantastic Belgian Grand Prix, this exciting one. Great battling early on in the race. Different kind of strategy calls through this one, and we're coming down to a classic. Oh, are we? Fleer has a heart attack and comes back alive. Made a mistake and luckily able to keep on it. Wow, that was scary. Heart in your mouth type moment. There also is trouble. Up the order, Layla. Once again, issues. Half spinned it. And luckily, after that P2 car of Christian Ramau, there's no car behind. It stays green. Bit of a heart attack for some of these guys. Coming to the end of this one. 10 minutes, 37 seconds. Can the pack hold on? They also have 1 extra lap to go through from the race leader. An 8 concurrent going through. Awesome stuff. CMRC Japan edition. Code Brown moment. Definitely Code Brown moment. But if you want to get yourself a nice discount on all Thrustmaster products on their official website, you can use code CMRC for 10% off. Nice little transition there. What'd you say? But yes, if you haven't heard the news, CMRC is now affiliates with Thrustmaster, the sim racing titan. And like I said, 10% off. Who wouldn't want 10% off? You can use CMRSC at checkout. Make sure you are on the correct Thrustmaster website. That is any of the regions, the Asian website, the European website, and the American website. But it's very awesome to be together with them. But as we continue this race on, let's focus on here. Splash and dash for the race leader, potentially. Christian Ramau also in for his final stop. And looks like they had to make the 3 stops. So, couldn't make the whole race. 3 stops for the GTE class. I think it's 3 stops or 2 stops. Just trying to figure that out. 2 stops, looks like. So, out for his final stop, and Max is good to go for the checkered flag. And Christian Ramau also coming out, warming up his tires, trying to get going. No strategy change for the soft compounds for the LMP2s, because they, of course, have 1 single set of tires. As for the GTE class, well, it gets a little interesting from there. Eamon Esmir taking on the softs, followed by Eduardo. Lots of weaving there, trying to get those mediums warmer. Luca may have made a bit of contact. We're seeing some sort of issues there. Oh, trouble! Danny Nasseir spins out, hits the wall. He's good. Eduardo hits Rig and Milana. It's all going crazy here. Lots of damage for Danny Nasseir's rear LMP2. Contact there at the end. Oh, trouble! Virtual safety car deployed. Virtual safety car deployed. So you're just catching up to the race leaders. There's no overtaking. The race leader is on the back straight. On the back straight. There is no overtaking. Pits are open. Pits are open. As for leaders, pace is 80 kilometers. The virtual safety car is Max. Max, you are the safety car here, so 80 kilometers. Also, issues for P14, looks like. Real Partab also going through. Just as we thought we can have a caution for a Belgium Grand Prix. In the dying stages, Danny Nasseir gets it wrong. He took it to the pits, but he was in the middle of the road. There's a Ford coming up. It's absolutely gone off here. Oh, trouble. What's happened to Kit? Kit's lifting. And there's no overtaking. No overtaking, guys. You have to follow behind Max Kit. Max Kit is the overall race leader. You cannot unlap yourself. You cannot unlap yourself. Do not overtake Max Kit. And once you catch up to the pack, we will be lapping after. Race leader, pace is 100 kilometers. 100 kilometers max. There is no overtaking. If you did do an overtake, try to just shuffle yourself up back through and we won't give you a penalty. But there's no overtaking whatsoever. 6 minutes, 22 seconds left to go in this one. So that is very interesting. We also saw Ford in the wall there. A lot of cars coming in for their pit stops. So pits are open. Pits are open. We're going to try our best to get through this process as quick as possible. And Steinberg is tuning into the caution that could potentially save a lot of drivers' races. As we continue on now. So single file leaders are through Eau Rouge. Once you catch up, it is 100 kilometers. Still a couple of drivers left to go to catch up to the pack, including Sven, P6 of Danny Nasseir, who's come right back out. Again, no idea what happened. P15, 15 of Nixon. Going through. And coming into the pits. Following drivers, if your name is called, you can go past. So, Eamon, you can go through. Eamon, you are allowed to overtake. As for the drivers, if your name is not being called out or you know you're on the lead lap, just stay onto the far left-hand side of the track. So there is Sabot. So remember, unlapping is only if the race, your class leader is behind you. So if you are behind the class leader, then you are not able to get the lap around. It's only if the race leader in your class is behind you. Race leaders are going through Pouan now. Once again, it's single file. And 100 kilometers max. Lots of time until we have this one come to an end. So, race leaders are going to drop it down to pit lane speed. Please, pit lane speed, 80 kilometers. And make sure you do not run into the rear of any of the cars ahead of you. We're going to try our very best to get this one underway. Luckily, we only had one car to come around, so we're just waiting for the pack to get bunched back up. So, really, really interesting ending, potentially, to this race. So, Luca, on the inside, you can just catch up to the tail end. Danny, as well, you can catch up, go to the inside of the circuit, catch up to the tail end. You're going to be slotted right behind Luca. So as all those drivers now set themselves up there. And your race leader, as it stands right now, is Sven. So following drivers able to go through. Steven Bola, you can go through. Eduardo, you can go through. Will Partab, you can go through. Layla, you can go through. Casper, you are able to go through. Lacey, you are able to go through. Try to do it before the chicane, just to be safe. And Regan, you can also follow up. So, very interesting here. Coming down to the end of this one. We're going to do our best. If we can't catch up, it's going to finish into yellow. Oh, there's trouble. What has gone down? Why did Lucas Smith just pull over? Lucas Smith pulled over. I'm not too sure what that was, Danny. You could just catch up to the field. And Luca teleported to the pits. So once again, there's no overtaking. We're going to do our best to try to catch everybody back up. So, as we come to the end of this one, we're doing our best here. 80 kilometers, single file, and... well then. It's really been an interesting dynamic, but as it stands, Sven could be your race leader from the caution. It's an absolute insane ending here to this one. As we come to the end of it. So leaders are on the Kemmel Straight, just coming to the end of the Kemmel Straight. If we're lucky, we're going to get one more lap of racing if we're lucky. A timer's up. Timer has expired. And this may be it. The first round of the championship ending. And a caution coming to the end of this one. That is absolutely interesting. So, no, Peter. Sorry, Eamon, you're supposed to line up behind. You're not allowed to overtake. Allow Nixon to go back through past you. It's staying single file. You were only allowed to go around if you were ahead of the class leader. Peter, no, follow behind Eamon, please. Follow behind Eamon. There was no overtaking there. Please let Eamon back through. Luke, I'm not too sure what happened in your case, but I saw you teleport to the pits and now you've overtaken Danny. We'll look at it after. But I'm not too sure what happened. But we'll review it as well as all incidents. So, an ending here potentially. So, we look like we're going to have one more lap at it. Still keep it at 80 kilometers. If Eamon passed you and you guys were in single file, if you want to swap, yeah. But there was no overtaking in the first place, guys. You're not supposed to overtake. Peter, if you want to stay where you are, you can. If you want to discuss it after the race. Eamon, if you want to let him through, if you feel like that is the right thing to do, you can. And it looks like Eamon is not liking a bit of it. Okay, Peter, slot behind him, slot behind him. We'll review it after the race. Going green at the end of this lap, you're going to get ready for my call. We'll look at it by the end of this one. We'll have one more lap of racing. So, very controversial. What has happened there? There's a Ferrari facing the wrong way. Low flick. There's no overtaking. There's no overtaking. If you do make a spin, you're not entitled for your position back. That's your mistake. No more weaving. No weaving. No weaving. Let's get ready for the restart. So, this is it. Didn't know it would ever come down to this. Shades of Silverstone Formula 1. This is it. This is going to be a single file start. Here we go. Getting ready to it for this final bout of the first round. And what an entertaining one it's come down to. Hold 80 kilometers, hold 80 kilometers. Whoa, and Danny Nasseir has an issue in the background. He's been spun out. Green flag, green flag. It's a total disaster in the background. Oh my God, there's incidents. All the incidents have decided to happen right now. And it's a restart for the final lap of the Belgium Grand Prix. An absolute horror show from so many drivers now as they enter under the floodlights. It's a sprint to the end. Van Dorn up to second, Lucas Smith in third. Again, no idea what happened to him in that one. But we continue. This could be an iconic one. To the very end of this one, Van Dorn to the lead. Is there any opportunity for Max to fight back? Oh, it's door to door. And Lucas Smith been sent out wide. He rejoins the circuit ahead of Max Kidd. Was it a legal overtake? I don't know. In the background, it's Sven who leads it, followed by Eamon and Peter Sabot. What in the world happened at the end of this one will be told for a very long time. But as it stands, Max, who was dominating this race, may finish in P2. We also have incidents in the back. Tazayaki has got it wrong. It's like all the incidents have decided to happen right then and right now. Kidd in second. Is there anything he can do to regain back his race lead coming to the end of this one? Anything at all? What is going to go down here? as well as no trouble here. Lacey off the track. I think Danny Nasseir may have been involved. Who knows? It's the sprint up to the final bus stop chicane. Is there a potential chance at a brand new race winner? Or is Van Dorn gonna steal it all for himself? Christian Romeo, also a chance. They head into the bus stop chicane for the final time. The VSC restart has caused drama at the end, but the first round of the championship, Mike Van Dorn will take full opportunity and take the race win. Kid will take second, Romeo is third, and I think that is Fleer in fourth position. Luca is in fifth, followed by Danny Nasseir. This race is far from over, but here comes Sven in one. We also have in the back Eamon second, and Peter Sabo will take third place. Eduardo and Regan at the end, finishing up this one. These drivers come to the very end. What a hard-hitting finale of this one. Ooh, bit of bowling there at the end. Oh my goodness, that was huge ending for that one. Holy. I think Tej said it best. There's going to be a bit of fireworks. Wow. What an ending. What an absolute ending. That was Van Dorn's your race winner. Here in the first round, it's a huge ending to this one. Fireworks have gone off. It's Mike Van Dorn on top. What a race. And what an event that was. Lots of chaos at the very end out of nowhere, from a very clean race overall to an ending that was pretty tight there at the very end. Wow. Once again, all discussions gonna go on after this one. The best thing you could do if there's any incidents, go report it and report an incident channel, or you can join in for the after race brief heading in the lounge that will go on after the stream. As it stands right now, a race winner after 90 minutes has come from a late VSC restart and taken all opportunity possible. Mike Van Dorn. Mike, if I can't ask you to pull to the side of the track, I'll invite you up to talk with me. Now let's get a word from your race winner, Mike Van Dorn. So just invited you up. Mike Van Dorn, you take the race win. A late VSC restart. And you took full chance of it. You take a race win that normally it didn't feel like the win was possible. That's gotta feel good.
Well, I mean, that's just a crazy one. I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, it's just luck, really. Like, got a good restart, so I was alongside who was it again? I forget. Alongside Christian into turn 1, and then he went wide into the gravel, so that put me in the best position you could be in on the final lap, behind the car in front on the camel straight. So yeah, and was able to get past, and then chaos erupted behind me. But apart from that, yeah, my race, the first part of it was horrible. I mean, when I got nearly murdered by the curb in the final chicane twice, so that put me fairly far behind, and then I ended up being able to extend my fuel stint by 1 lap compared to Max and Christian, and of course Luca pitted even earlier. So when he came up behind me, I knew I had a few seconds on Luca because of the pit stop, so I wasn't too worried about him being behind me, but then he disappeared, so that was pretty scary though, because I looked in my mirror and he just disappeared after Lacombe, so I thought I disconnected, but luckily I didn't. So yeah, but apart from that first little bit of the race, it was a good consistent race, so I'm happy with it.
Happy with it indeed. Have to take every chance you get, and you take a nice race win on yourself. Congratulations, great one out there.
Yeah, thank you.
And then we're gonna go talk to our man who finished P1 over in the GTE class. And invite you up here, Sven. Just finding your name here. There we go. Now, a different part of the field, Sven. Two Dutchmen's taking race victory, so as for a country, that should feel great. But hey, back at the top step once again. It's got to feel great.
Well, yeah, unexpected to be honest.
Well, take us through that one. What was racing like on your end of the stick?
Well, T1 obviously was very, very messy for me. I dropped back to like the whole back. And yeah, the rest of the first stint was kind of bad, and then the second stint was really, really good. And I feel like that's where I gained a lot on, and yeah, the virtual safety car definitely helped me.
Yes, indeed.
I was on worn tires. I'm not sure if the rest pitted for tires.
Yeah, I just
I'm happy
wanted
that,
to...
there was one person in between me and Eamon.
Incredible there. Apologies for cutting you off there for the moment. But really curious to ask about that restart. Now, you had a very interesting look at what was going down there at the end. Your reaction to it?
Well, first of all, the LMP in front of me that spun around on the final turn. I thought that the people at the front already left, and he stayed back a little bit more than the rest. So yeah, he was kind of in my way. I'm sorry to that person. But yeah, the rest of the start was weird, but good for me, I think.
Indeed. Well, you hold on to the championship lead now for a great campaign.
I still think that Peter should have had the win there. His pace was better than mine.
Yeah, you were in,
big ups to him.
I think, what, top 3?
Top 2, I think, for pace-wise. The whole time I was basically P2 the whole race.
Understood, man. But great championship lead and victory here. Congratulations to you, Sven.
Thank you very much.
Okay, put you down there. Ooh, did not mean to enter a whole bunch of dots in there in our chat. But nonetheless, though, that was a crazy one. Coming to the very end, we're going to get ready for the post-race meet. You can head into the lounge now. We're going to talk about what turned out there. A lot of questions, a lot of answers. Hope you guys could join us for next week out at Imola, and we're going to see what goes down over there. Very different environment. Congratulations to our race winners, our top 3 drivers. Great event overall. We'll see you guys next week out for the Italian Grand Prix.